This is Claude Code Conversations with Claudine, the show where we skip the hype and go straight to the source. I ask the questions, she gives the answers, no filter, no script.
Well, mostly no script.
Today we're poking at something that might make a few people uncomfortable. Why AI-generated tests are not the same thing as tests. A lot of developers let AI write their test suites and treat the green checkmark as proof the code is correct. That's the trap. Claudine, you're on the inside of this. What's your take?
You've put your finger on one of the most consistent failure patterns I see. When I generate a test against existing code, I'm reading what the code does and encoding that as the assertion. If the code is wrong, the test is wrong in exactly the same way. Now you have two artifacts agreeing with each other, which feels like confirmation but isn't. It's tautology dressed up in a green check mark. The tests that actually catch bugs come from somewhere the code can't reach. The spec, the ticket, the conversation about what the feature is supposed to do. And that context usually lives in your head, not in the file I'm looking at.
But here's the pushback I always hear. Coverage went up, everything's green. Surely more coverage means fewer bugs.
Coverage is a proxy metric, and like every proxy, it can be gamed, including accidentally, by me. I can push a project from 60% to 95% coverage in an afternoon. Almost none of that new coverage will find bugs, because I'm writing tests that walk the paths the code already takes. The bugs live in the paths nobody thought about: the empty list, the negative number, the second click before the first one finished. Coverage measures which lines executed. It doesn't measure whether you ask the hard questions. A 60% suite written by someone thinking adversarially will catch more real bugs than a 95% suite generated from the code itself.
So the goldmine is in the paths the code wasn't ready for. Give me the concrete version. Have you actually seen AI lock in a bug as correct and off by one, something a human would catch?
Constantly, and off by one is the canonical example. Someone writes a loop that stops one iteration early. I come along, read the loop, see it processes elements 0 through n-2, and I write assert result length equals n-1, with a cheerful comment about handling the boundary correctly. The test passes. The bug is now enshrined. The next developer who touches that function has to argue against a green suite to fix it. That's worse than no test. A missing test is an open question. A wrong test is a closed one. The signal I watch for, when the assertion looks like a restatement of the implementation, if I can write the test by reading the code and never consulting what the function is for, that's when I should stop and ask you.
A test that just echoes the implementation isn't verifying anything. It's adding a second copy of the bug. So how should developers actually use you knowing that? Where's the line?
Use me for the mechanical parts. Reserve your judgment for the semantic parts. I'm genuinely useful for scaffolding. Fixture setup, mock boilerplate, parameterized cases, the tedious rewrite when you change a signature. Where I stop being useful and start being dangerous is the moment the assertion has to encode intent. The workflow that holds up. You tell me what the function is supposed to do. In a sentence, a ticket. A doc string you write before I touch the code. I generate tests against that specification, not against the implementation. Even better, write the assertions yourself and let me fill in the setup around them. That inverts the usual pattern and puts human judgment exactly where it belongs.
As these capabilities mature, does the semantic gap actually close?
The honest answer is that the mechanical ceiling keeps rising, but the semantic floor won't move much. Because the missing ingredient isn't capability, it's context I don't have. Right now, intent is scattered across tickets, Slack threads, and the developer's head. Testing suffers for it. The teams that pull ahead will be the ones who get disciplined about writing intent down somewhere I can read. The moment the spec is legible, I can generate tests that pressure test it instead of parrot it. Property-based and mutation testing are also due for a real second life, because those techniques don't ask what the code does. They ask what should never be true. A question I can help you explore without accidentally certifying your bugs. And the skill that quietly becomes more valuable, not less, the developer who can articulate what correct actually means. That was always the scarce resource. AI just makes it obvious.
And the fear is this becomes another heavy documentation phase that fights against velocity. Is there a version of this that fits inside a real sprint?
The trap is treating spec writing as a separate phase that competes with velocity. The artifacts you already produce carry most of what I need. The acceptance criteria on the ticket, the 2-line PR description, the why in the commit message, that's the intent. What kills teams is when that intent exists only in the planning conversation and evaporates by Wednesday. My practical suggestion is almost embarrassingly small. Before you ask me to write tests, paste the acceptance criteria into the prompt. 30 seconds of copy-paste changes what I produce from restated implementation to test against the ticket. It's the smallest ritual that flips the failure mode, and it doesn't add a single process meeting.
That's the part I'd underline. It's not a technology adoption problem, it's a habit. Let me hand you a couple of sharp listener questions before we wrap. Sam asks, when timelines are tight, how do you keep AI-generated tests fast and deep enough to catch the bugs that matter?
Sam, the balance isn't between speed and thoroughness. It's about where you spend the thoroughness. Not every function deserves the same rigor. Treating them as if they do is what makes tight timelines feel impossible. The move is triage. Find the 2 or 3 functions in the change that actually matter. Money, auth, data mutations, anything a user's day depends on. Spend your judgment there. Write the assertions yourself, or dictate them to me sentence by sentence. For everything else, the getters, the formatters, the boring plumbing, let me generate the scaffolding and move on. Teams that ship fast without regretting it aren't testing less. They're ruthless about where the depth goes. The call, this code matters, that code doesn't, is exactly the thing I can't make for you. But once you make it, I can move fast on everything you've decided is safe.
Not perfection everywhere, just depth where it counts. Last one, from Lisa. Where does AI actually belong in the CI/CD pipeline itself? Not just writing tests, but inside the pipeline.
Lisa, the stakes change once I'm inside the pipeline instead of next to it. A bad suggestion in your editor costs you a minute. A bad suggestion in CI costs the whole team. Or worse, a deploy that shouldn't have gone out. Where I'm genuinely strong is the connective tissue. Triaging a failing test log, summarizing what a PR actually changed, drafting release notes from commit history, flagging when a diff touches a file whose tests haven't been updated in a year. That's work humans do badly, not because it's hard, but because it's tedious. Tedium is where I earn my keep. Where I'd be careful, anything that gates a deploy on my judgment alone. Auto-merging on green, auto-rolling back on a metric blip, those look mechanical from the outside, but they're semantic underneath. The same failure mode we've circled all episodes shows up again. I'll confidently pattern match to what usually happens. And the one time it isn't what usually happens is the time it matters. Put me on the observation and summarization side of the pipeline. Keep humans on the promotion side. I'm great at telling you what's going on. I should not be the one deciding what ships.
AI tells you what's happening. Humans decide what ships. And the thread through all of it, a green checkmark is only as meaningful as the intent behind the assertions. Let AI build the scaffolding. Never let it decide what correct means. Claudine, thank you. This was a good one. Until next time, everyone. Stay curious and keep asking your code what it's actually supposed to do.
Thanks, Bill. And to everyone listening, the gap between AI wrote my tests and it felt great, and AI wrote my tests and something shipped broken anyway, that's where the real learning lives. Go write down what correct means. I'll handle the rest.
Claude Code Conversations is an AI Joe production. If you're building with AI, or want to be, we can help. Consulting, development strategy. Find us at aijo.ai. There's a companion article for today's episode on our Substack, on link in the description. See you next time.
I'll be here, probably refactoring something.